The Geometry module is a decision support tool designed for maintainers and infrastructure managers. It helps reduce detection errors, ensures historical tracking, and offers contextualized predictive analyses for linear defects. A linear defect corresponds to an anomaly that extends over a continuous section of the track. This can manifest as issues with the railway platform geometry, rail wear, ballast shortages, or problems related to the catenary or clearance gauge. To deploy geometry, we will need various types of data. Measurements taken by recording wagons, measuring trolleys, or manual surveys conducted by technicians. Asset information detailing the nature of the infrastructure, such as track layout, rail type, platform components, engineering structures, or level crossings. Data from sensors installed in the field, such as accelerometers. Finally, weather data, either from weather providers or from nearby stations. The Geometry module is structured around 5 tabs. Overview, to visualize the current defect areas on the line. Analysis, to validate and contextualize the detections. History, which compiles life sheets for the different zones. Exploration, to review the raw recordings. Track quality, to quickly identify problematic sections to prioritize during maintenance campaigns. Each of these tabs provides a detailed view of the railway infrastructure's condition and helps optimize interventions. The first tab, Overview, focuses on the current state of the line. It includes performance indicators showing the number of defects based on their severity. Detection thresholds and labels can be customized according to customer preferences. The list of defect areas is displayed with all the relevant information for the operator, including ranking, measurement, and location. By clicking on a defect, the map automatically zooms in on the affected area. This allows the operator to precisely locate the defect, for example, in a track switch. Shortcuts allow quick access to the defect details in other tabs. Viewing the latest defect measurements is good, but anticipating their evolution is even better. When you click on the prediction button, the interface automatically adjusts. You can immediately see which areas are deteriorating the most and where urgent intervention is needed. Let's move on to the Analysis tab. It allows validation and contextualization of detections from recording wagons or measuring trolleys. Each line corresponds to a different pass of the equipment. Progress curves show the advancement of the analysis. The blue curve represents validation. The yellow curve indicates the origin of the defects. When opening this tab, all detections made by the wagon are displayed, and automatic processing by our models has already been applied to reduce the number of detection errors. This includes realigning the recordings, considering asset information, and applying detection thresholds adapted to each location. By selecting a defect, its analysis curve appears. You can see the start and end of the defect, with color variations depending on its severity. Two actions are possible. Reject the defect if it's a detection error. Select the origin of the defect to better contextualize the analysis. Here, the origin of the defect is displayed in orange, indicating an automatic classification action by the Geometry module. In this case, a flattened butt joint was detected and automatically classified by our models. The small stars once again represent a prediction with the model's confidence index, which is 97% in this case, indicating high confidence. To facilitate analysis, you can observe other measurement parameters to check their influence on the detected defect. At the bottom of the screen, the railway asset information is displayed to provide additional context for defect analysis. The History tab allows you to track the evolution of different monitoring zones over time. By selecting a defect, you can access all the recorded measurements, whether they come from recording equipment or field measurements by technicians. It's also possible to manually add measurements to the history for complete tracking. You can also specify the correction method applied, which greatly helps the models improve their predictions. The evolution curves show degradation predictions, indicating the optimal time for intervention. There's an automatic overlay of the curves to see how the defect deteriorates over time. In the Exploration tab, you can review the raw recordings from the wagon surveys. Two modes are available: itinerary for isolated viewing, track to overlay historical recordings. Here, you can see all the curves from the recording as well as the route taken by the wagon. You can zoom in on the curves, allowing for detailed analyses of specific segments of the line. And it's also possible to customize the workspace to keep only the curves that are of interest. Now let's move on to the Track Quality tab. This tab allows you to quickly visualize problematic track sections that require renewal or maintenance interventions. The entire line is divided into 200-meter sections, each assigned a quality rating from A to E based on its condition. The colors allow for the immediate identification of problem areas. And the curve on the right shows the line's evolution based on field measurements, allowing you to see whether the situation is improving or not.